Hello and welcome to FIFAe Talks, the home of football esports, where I will be joined by various guests from across the scene to learn more about what makes them tick on and off the virtual football pitch. Today, I'm joined by 2 times Dutch eDivisie champion, Levi De Weerd. How is it going, sir?
I'm good, bro. What about you?
Yeah, I'm wonderful. Obviously, I don't have anyone to introduce me, so for those who have no idea who I am 0 times E-Prem champion, but I did get Elite 2 in 2020. So there we go. We're not here about me for today. We're not here to do all that. So let's get straight into this, because before I get into the esports side of things, I want to know, how did you first get into football?
Oof, yeah, obviously it's an easy one. I think every guy out there, like when he starts to grow up a bit, wants to football. Almost everyone. I think I was like 4 years old. I was allowed to play football when I was 5, but like I was so pushing to my mom and my dad, like I want to play. Then the day before I turned 5, I could play, and then they said, "Oh, why didn't you bring him earlier? Because he's so good." And then then my dad was like, it was not allowed, So
yeah.
But in the end, like I didn't. I just heard that like a few years ago. Obviously, they didn't tell me, but that's how I got into football.
Oh, so you were a generational talent back then already? Is that what you're telling me? Yeah.
When I was younger, now I still can play, but I'm not as good as any. My prime was when I was like 12, 13, I would say.
Well, I've heard you've played for a couple teams back home in Netherlands, though. I'm hearing about Twente and Vitesse, so how did that one come about then? What happened there?
Actually, that's quite a love story, me and Vitesse, because I played for them in the youth academy, and obviously I also won the eDivisie for them. So for them that was a crazy story, but I think when I was like 10 or 11, I got like scouted for Vitesse and Twente. Then I went to Vitesse, I went to Twente afterwards, and then the Twente downfall came. So I went away right there, back to like amateur, but now I'm just footballing with my brother and his friends, because obviously I can't participate in the training sessions as in the matches often. But now I'm just playing for fun, I would say.
So is there maybe like a reason why you stopped them playing professional or trying to go professional, or?
At some point you just need to be real. I was not good enough at that point, and maybe I didn't have the mentality where there were just like players in my squad who were better, and in the end, if there are like maybe 2 players from the A team who make it, they're already very, very happy. Then it's already a lot, And like I was never a bench player, for example, but I also was not the top 2 or top 3 in my team. I was just below that. I think that in the end, it was a bit of my luck as well that I stopped at that age, because then I went rolling into FIFA.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. We all hit that stage at some point. Me, even now, I'm still thinking maybe at 27 there's still time, but I think the time is running out to play professional football, so there we go. We'll get into esports then. How did that come about? Were you always playing games, or what happened?
A bit of the same story, I think. Like, I was just playing with my friends, with my brother always. Like, I think when I maybe was 4 or 5 years old, my brother was just playing against me. Maybe I thought I was playing, but I was the CPU, I have no idea.
Unplugged.
But a fun thing, like when I was, I think, 9 or 10 years old, like his friends came to our house, and my brother was like betting against them, like, you can't beat my little brother.
Yeah.
And he's like 7 years older, so they were like 17, 18, and they were like, nah, it's impossible I lose to 9 or 10 year old. And then I just beat them up, and then that was where I maybe realized I was good. My brother was making money, and they were like, you have to go and play some tournaments, but I was like, nah, I don't really want to do that, because at that time I maybe was a bit shy, and I was just like playing for fun. But then I think when I first reached 40, when I was 12 in FIFA 17, then after that I was like really motivated to like get good at FIFA as well. And after that I just kept grinding. Just the weekend leagues, that's how I went to Team Gullit, because they saw me like high up in the leaderboards. I think once I became first monthly in May or something, when I was still 13 or 14 years old, and then I got a few offers, and at the start I was like, what's going on, what can this bring me, like, because I think esports has been growing a lot like past 5-6 years, and for me it was the same. I was like, nah, it's impossible to like get a contract, right? Like I didn't know anything about it, and that's how it started basically.
I hope your brother gave you some of that money that he was winning from.
I don't think it was much. I don't think it was much.
Fair enough. So obviously you've been doing it for a few years now since that time. But I can't lie. I find it crazy that this was happening and you were 13 years old, because I was there getting beat by guys that I guess were like 7, 8 years younger than me. Fair enough. So in this time, what would you say has been, I guess, your best achievement? We've said obviously you have the eDivisie titles. You've been to many, many tournaments as well. What's like your proudest achievement, would you say?
That's a tough one. I think for me something that just keeps in mind is FIFA 21, my debut season when I won back-to-back European qualifiers, or back-to-back European champion. That was crazy, I think, without losing a single game. So I think 22 best of twos, just unbeaten. If I have to say, that's probably one of those, but also like the Esports Cup. And I think last year in Riyadh, where I lost in the semi-final and the final of the World Cups, E-Nations and E-Club, really close there. And yeah, this season also going pretty well, I would say. Top 4 Pro Open, still in the E-Champions League, top 16, going for the top 8 finals upcoming weekend. And yeah, I think it's just like overall the consistency maybe I'm showing. Since FIFA 21, I've been there every year. And that's maybe what I'm most proud of.
Yeah, I respect it highly. Obviously, you said that you had a couple where you're runners-up, or maybe you got quite far in a tournament. So, obviously, as good as an achievement as that is, how would you say you deal with those losses or the setbacks? Are you one that maybe you start getting stressed out for a while, or do you just move on and go again next time?
To be fair, I always just hope the next tournament is as soon as possible then. Sometimes when it takes long, maybe like 6-7 weeks before next tournament, it can be tough because maybe you lose some confidence or you start thinking too much, and that's never a good thing. I would say this year and last year I learned a lot because I'm also getting older. I turned 20 tomorrow, and yeah, when I was like 16, 17, I was struggling with this way more, I think, than when I lost a game in a tournament, for example, and I had to play half an hour after, I basically lost already. And now, like, I can lose, and then I really can change my mental side. Also together with Renzo, of course, he's also really important for me. But I think that's just experience. It's maybe a cliche, but from experience, you really learn a lot.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, most people know that obviously what separates some people from the serious pros are the ones that they can just play the game and focus on one game at a time and not worry about all the other factors.
Yeah.
So you are saying that you have been very consistent for the last couple of years, and I can definitely agree, seeing the numbers and everything. So would you say, and you can be honest about this one, would you say you're the best player in Netherlands right now?
That's a tough question, man.
I have to ask some tough questions as well, you know? I have to ask.
I get this question so often. Everybody asks it. Also, it's obviously just between Manu, Emre and me. That's clear. You have some people behind it, but we've been at the top for very long now. And I have to say, it's so different every single day. Yeah. One day Emre can be the best. One day Manu, as he became world champion. One day I'm the best. And like, I believe that if everybody plays to his capabilities, I will be the best, but they do the same. And I think there's not much difference between the three of us. It's just the momentum thing. And obviously when I play them, I hope to have the momentum at that time. But like, playing against someone and winning against him doesn't mean you are better. Because you can win against him, but if he wins more against others, like, who's better then? I think, if you ask this question to Manu and Emre, they will give exactly the same answer as I just did.
Yeah. It seems like you guys are very well media trained. Already at this young age, you know the right answer. You're not going to say, I'll slap all of them. You say, on your day, some different things can happen. Fair enough. I respect the answer. So then, what about worldwide? Who would you say are, again, I guess, the best players in the world at the moment, currently, in your opinion?
If I look to people close to me, it's also maybe boring, but PH Sin's been incredible. Same goes for Emre, same goes for Manu. Apart from me, I think that's just 4 players of eDivisie who show it like every single time. Yeah. And then obviously you have a lot of, I think this year the level has been so crazy. Like for example, Umut and Obru not making the World Championships is also crazy to me, because they are like top tier players, and on a good day they can just become the world champion. if I have to name one player at the moment, like after Champions League now, I'm gonna say Manu, because what he showed was crazy good, I have to say.
Cooking. I respect the answer. Yeah, again, it's all your opinion. No one is going to be upset or angry if the name's not included, so you don't worry about it. I would say then, or the next question rather, I would say, if you had to create like a Mount Rushmore, so there's like a mount of heads all time, the best FIFA players, or I guess the most important players that have ever played. So you can have, I don't know, Tex, you can throw in PHN if you want. What 4 names would you have on that Mount Rushmore?
For me, number 1 on there is Nicolas, definitely. Okay. Number 2 is gonna be Dosari, I would say, for me, because I also like watched him so much when I like started playing and I couldn't play competitive. Then number 3 is gonna be Tex. I think these 3 are like locked in if you are talking about the GOAT. And then 4.
You could put yourself if you want. Just sneak in there if you like.
Like I will get there, because I think I belong there. But I think for me, Umut.
Okay.
Umut has been crazy as well.
That's a good 4. I don't mind that one at all. Yeah. So let's go outside of obviously playing all these professional tournaments and whatever. Within the pro scene, who would you say is like your closest friend that you've obviously got to spend time with? Because I know I've met you recently as well. It seems like everyone seems to get along, whether they're rivals or not.
Yeah, I think right now I get along a lot with 3 names I named, PHN, Manu and Emre. But mentioning Manu again, as we really like started this all together, like when we were like 13, 14, we were like in PlayStation parties, like grinding against each other, playing FIFAe Champs like together in parties. So I know him the longest, and to be honest, I know I hate it. I can lose against everyone, but I think losing against Manu is one of the worst things for me, and I know it's the same for him, because you know it yourself. If you play against a friend and you lose, it's so annoying, and that's basically the same. And especially if you play competitive, then it can be so annoying. But on the other hand, like if I'm out of a tournament, I hope he or Emre or PHN wins, of course. But when I'm still in, I don't want to lose against him. So if I have to name my best friend, probably easy answer is Manu then, I would say.
It's funny because I was going to say the very next question I was going to ask you, it might be the same name. I was going to say who's the most annoying person that you've met via the pro scene. Doesn't mean you dislike them or you're not friends with them, but someone that just annoys you. Maybe
Emre.
Okay, tell me why.
I'm getting
is it the Ronaldo conversations or is it something else?
But it's people who don't know him, they don't believe it. But this guy, like not during the game or something, but when I'm just 3 or 4 days with him, it's more than enough. I need a break because he's so annoying. Like where sometimes he needs so much attention, I would say. And he's just, I don't know. He's so crazy. He's like, I love him.
Nonsense, innit?
I love him, but he can annoy you, and he does. It's not even his goal. Like he's just trying to be funny all the time. Talking about it already annoys me.
Is there someone that you would say, that obviously when everyone links up together, is there someone that maybe they never talk about anything other than the game? Like they won't talk about real life or anything. They just always pro games.
I think it's like all the other cultures apart from a few countries. Like for example, when I'm good with the French guys, they also talk a lot about the game always. And then I'm like, bro, let's just talk a bit about private things. They just talk about which player do you play,
what formation do you use, what do you put on your attackers now.
It's not a bad thing, but it's it's also easy. Like when you're starting a conversation because you're living the same life, playing the game. It's easy, of course. But I would say the French guys maybe.
They love talking about the game, yeah.
Yeah,
Fair
they
enough.
do.
Cool. And then out of these guys, who would you say, last one for these guys, who would you say has the worst drip out of everyone? Because I see you as someone that you understand how to put on your clothes. You know, you're a suave guy. Who needs work? And if you want to say Mr. Tom Stokes, feel free.
I'm not gonna say Stokes again.
Okay.
I'm gonna give this award to Amenyah because we tried to dress him up, but he just doesn't. He just throws it away. I guess he's just wearing the same things every single time.
Yeah.
That makes him special as well because he just doesn't care.
Yeah, of
He
course, of course.
just doesn't care. That makes him a special guy.
Yeah, I hear that. So obviously we've said it many a time on this pod so far, you are a young guy. So what are your, I guess, future goals in the esports? What are you hoping to achieve? We spoke about the Mount Rushmore. What's your goals?
Obviously, I wanna win everything possible. The chance of that happening isn't that big because people have been playing for years and years and they maybe haven't even won anything. Obviously, my short-term goal now, as we are speaking, is to win the Champions League, to get to the finals and then win that tournament. The World Cup is also like just insane. I hope the Nations returns because when I was younger, I always said like I want to be the first one to become world champion with the Netherlands, just in real life football.
Yeah.
Now I didn't make that, but the closest I could come is probably by winning Nations. We were really close last summer, of course, finishing second, but I really believe that if that tournament come back, we will get that trophy one time.
Hopefully so. I have no favourites in the game, so hopefully you can make that one come true. But I have heard, obviously, when I watch footballers from Netherlands, there seems to be a trend towards players that enjoy a bit of rapping. We have Depay, obviously we have Promes as well. Someone tells me in my ear that you are someone that is quite fond of rapping. Is that true? Could that be on the horizon as well?
Not really as in the future, but I like to do it. Yes, sometimes when I just have a song I really like, I just practice the lyrics, you know. And also, like, I always listen when I'm playing. I'm always listening to music, and I can't listen Dutch music anymore because I know it too well, and then I would just keep singing while I'm playing. So that's not a good thing. Now I just always listen to DBE, so D Block Europe, just always on repeat, and it just works for me. I just music. I think it's the same for you. No, music is such a big thing in my life. Without music, it would have been so boring sometimes.
Yeah, maybe they're saying you could potentially have a diss track on Emery or somebody perhaps one day. I don't know. You might have to write one for us so that we can get some new tunes. Would I help you? I can find you the instrumental, maybe. Yeah, sure. That's all I'll be doing to contribute. Fairs, right. Last one in terms of, I guess, the whole pro scene and growing up and whatnot. Obviously, I know from the streaming sort of things and that kind of career, it can be difficult to get your parents to really understand what you're doing and how it can make you money. So how were your parents with this whole situation? Were they supportive? Were they helping you out?
They were supportive from like the start. They were still like obviously doubting it because they also didn't know what to expect. And luckily I was like the first years I started competing, I was still at school, so they were like finish your school, do that and do like compete next to it. So that didn't really give me problems with them, like don't game all the time, just go out, because I was still at school. And then I decided like 2 years ago to quit school. I finished like my school there and then I went on to study, and that it really worked out, so that's a good thing because that's quite a risk, of course. My parents were like, okay, we're gonna give you this opportunity, but you have to make sure you take it with both hands. And I think that's what I did, and they support me every single day. They're like my biggest fans. My dad even came to Riyadh as a surprise because I didn't know, and then I came down the elevator and I saw him there.
He's just chilling there.
He's like the best supporter, I would say, and they just help me if I struggle with something. They're always there, and it meant a lot to me that they just that they were not like, nah, don't do these games, it doesn't make sense, you know, because they also invested some time to learn about esports, because I told them like, you can't judge if you don't know what's behind it, what the future can be, and now they really realize. So that's really good, I would say, and I hope other parents will do the same. It's really important to not play 12 hours a day. I also didn't do that for myself, so I think that helped me out a bit. If I was like that, maybe it would have been a different story.
Would have been a problem. Fair enough. Shout out to their parents, man. They did very well. Then they raised a nice, humble young individual and a great FIFA player as well. So
Thank you,
good for
bro.
them. Now, obviously, we have, of course, to talk about the tactical, sweaty side of things. So all the people that want to improve your game, get your pen and paper, get your notepad. It's time for us to learn about how we're going to cook. Now, I'm the kind of guy that sometimes I'll go into a game and I'll start doing player lock straight away to scare my opponent and make them think I'm a pro player. So I want to ask you, what are 3 things that you can see your opponent doing that make you instantly know that he's a pro player and not a casual?
It's just the small things like offside traps all the time.
Yeah.
Like when he takes a touch, a step over, speed boost,
Okay.
these things. And something I would say is also player locks is really something. Like if someone does player locks, you can get scared, exactly what you say.
Okay.
And people, like casuals, don't do player locks. I know, for example, my friends, when I play against them, it's not often anymore because they don't want to play against me. Then when I perform a player lock, they say, you can't do that.
Yeah, no, you're that kind of guy. You go to people's houses and you start changing the depth and the width. Oh,
No,
Levi.
No, the tactics I leave them. When I play against my friends, I leave. But
Yeah.
I can't not play without player locks. But that's just automatism. It just happens.
Are you green timing shots as well against your
Of course
friends?
I'm green timing.
Oh, shame.
Of course.
Shame.
Why should I miss chances if I can score them?
Now, you know what? I respect it. That's the kind of ruthless mentality we need to become pro players. That's why they're not pros. So I respect it highly. So would you say then this year in particular is maybe like a formation that you would say is the most meta or OP?
Yep. It's clear. The 4-3-2-1. I think 99% of the pros play it, apart from Johnny, I would say, who won the Bundesliga. I haven't seen
4-4-1-1 guy, yeah?
Yeah, 4-4-1-1. I haven't seen anyone having success with a different formation, basically. It's just because it's undefendable at times. If you just play it well, with the good instructions, good tactics, and you know how to play it, it's just undefendable if you have a good attack sometimes. And also, in the most overpowered thing about it is if you get the right instructions, it defends like a 4-4-2. So it's not bad in defense at all. Which a 4-3-2-1, if it defends in a 4-3-2-1, it will be very poor defensively. But because of the instructions, you can make it defend like a 4-4-2. Makes it just so overpowered.
Okay, so Timmy comes home from school. He puts on the 4-3-2-1 formation. He puts on your instructions. Why isn't he also getting 20 wins? What's he missing? What does he need to start adding to his game? Because the formation cannot do the whole job for you, isn't it?
No, of course. Like, I get this question so often. Like, how do I improve? The thing I always say, go and watch videos on YouTube, TikTok. That's also how I started. I know when I was like a bit younger, Boras Legend was the guy. Everybody watched Boras. He had the best tutorials. That's how I started to learn things, because it's really hard to learn skill moves just from the game. You go and search how it works, but you never know the angles and stuff.
Sure.
And nowadays on social media you can find every single thing you want to know. Literally, you can even see like breakdowns of coaches, of analysis, of pro open games, of World Cup games. Every single game you have people who explain what happens. And I think that's the easiest way, because you can just try to copy and paste it, maybe tweak it a bit, and that's the easiest way I would say to improve.
Fair. A couple guys have said to me before that they watch their own gameplay back, even if it's just champs. Do you ever do that, or you're not one of those guys?
I watch my own gameplay back. We have at Team Gullit, we have 3 coaches. One is also for video analysis. And with him I always watch back some games, or games of other players, for example. When a competition is done, like La Liga or eLiga maybe, we watch back the final to maybe see if some of the players did anything different, or there's some surprises.
Yeah, fair enough. So that's obviously the, I guess, physical side of things. What about the mental side? How would they improve? Because I know many people, I'm not included in this one, that they'll be throwing their controllers, they'll be elbowing the desk, or they'll be getting very heated. How do you prevent that for someone that maybe struggles with that sort of thing? How do you just lock it out?
This is so hard, because even at the highest level, some people are like raging crazy. It's just all about how you turn it, if you take it with you into the next game or not. Because you can rage, it's okay, but if you have to play a game after and you're still raging, I know even myself, I don't look like a guy who's raging. I know a lot of people probably always say I'm really calm, but when I also was younger, obviously struggle more with that. But the most frustrating thing there is probably FIFAe Champs. Because when you lose a game in FIFAe Champs, nobody's gonna stop. And then you're gonna play, and you gonna lose again and lose again. I think it's just about like taking a break, just do something that doesn't have to do with the game, I would say. So just take a break. I don't know, if you smoke, go and smoke. If you want to go outside and take a walk, just do that. Just take a few minutes break from the game and think about something else. Go on your phone. Just keep your mind away. That's how I do it, basically. And obviously at the events it's a bit more professional. So I have my coach. I just talk with him. So he helps me out then, and then we just talk about maybe what went wrong. And yeah, it's also it's a game, so if you're gonna get angry, it's not gonna help you. Like,
it's still a game,
yeah.
Of course. Has there been anyone that you've seen maybe like at a pro event? You haven't got to say names if you don't want to. Has someone just like lost their head at an event that you've seen before and they had to just be calmed down or something? Has that happened?
Yeah. 2 days ago, like
the
Champions League, Umut was raging so heavily. Like I have seen him rage, but not competitively. He really lost his head. But the thing, like, he is the guy. He's so strong on the mental side of things, so he can just come back next game and smash someone again. So it's not really a problem. But Umut really lost his head. Yeah. Like,
Fair enough.
It was crazy.
I'm the kind of person that I'll never really rage at a game, because again, like you said, it is a game at the end of the day. So you can't let it affect your life beyond the 5 minutes of it finishing. But I am someone that, if someone's playing in a very toxic fashion and I beat them, I like to maybe send them a quick voice note on the PlayStation messages.
What do you send usually?
So normally I'll put on, you know, the Bayern Munich goal music. I'll play that on my phone in the background, and then I'll be there saying, shush, shush, go back to the menus, go and play squad battles. You're not on my level, bro. And then I'll maybe add like a soo at the end. That's my sort of thing. And you know, on the PlayStation microphone, it sounds even worse because it's like some old mic. Are you too composed for that? Yeah, you don't send messages.
I'm not that guy. You're probably even griddying as well in game, no?
No. You know what? Actually, I don't griddy on people. I skip everything. But when you start it, now I'll do you 10 times worse. I will now pause it 3 times. Not when I score. I'll wait until 90th minute, and then I'm gonna pause it 3 times, because you can't start it on me. I'm a nice, polite guy until someone does it. Are you telling me every game you're always just sensible? You don't do anything toxic, huh?
No, I've never sent a message or.
Really?
No. When I was younger, but not. I think for 3 years I haven't done.
I'll be honest, you should try it, man. It's a very nice boost. When someone's playing like that, I just have to. I'm just there like, no, you can't behave like that. You know when they pause for you to leave at like 1-0 or 2-0, that's when in my head I'm like, now I sit up. Now I'm gonna play. I'm not getting paid for this, but I'm gonna play properly. Fair enough.
You are toxic as well.
No, genuinely, I promise you.
How? Okay, wait. How can you say no with the things you just said? You can't say no.
Because every goal that I score, I skip. But if you start doing it first, I'll do it 10 times worse to you. Do you get it?
Yes.
So I'll even pause it at like the 70th minute to message you like on the PS app, and I'll say, hey bro, let's not waste our time. You're out of your depth here. It's time to leave, bro. And then I'll carry on playing. Because they start it. Like, I feel like I should be entitled to do that, no?
Yeah. Like, yeah. I give you the permission, and I wouldn't.
There you go. I'll be given permission. They're doing the Haaland headers, the corners. It's too much for me, man. But okay, speaking of, I guess, guys like Haaland and whatnot, I want to know, aside from all the cars that are obviously packable and they're very expensive, what has been, in your opinion, the best and worst SBC of the year? Are you someone that completes SBCs like that, or you keep your?
I don't complete them a lot. The best is for me Rolfo, I think. She was so good. I didn't do her on my own account, but then I played with her in the eDivisie because we got unlocked accounts right there for the people that don't know. And I really regret not doing her. So I think she's the best SBC. You also have like Havertz, which I completed on my own account. He's insane. Left back, center mid, you can play him anywhere. And one of the worst SBCs, I don't know. Probably this is tough to say as you see the badge, but for me, the winter wildcard Ruud Gullit was really poor.
Yeah, there's something about, for me with Gullit, and it's been all the way through the years. When they have that base Gullit, that 86, that's not Gullit. That's Gullit.
Nah.
That's Juliet. That's not him, bro. That's
That's
some
not
other
Gullit,
guy.
nah.
But when it gets to like the 90, now we're talking about Gullit.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with you on that one. A few minutes ago, you were telling me that you were watching, let's say, Bora's videos and some other guy to learn some skills. So now in 2024, what would you say is perhaps the one skill that I should go to the arena and go and practice for 3 hours to get into my game? Because all I do is left stick dribble. I don't really have any skills in my
the most important one to get like speed into your gameplay, like really pace up the tempo, the step over, I would say. It's not even hard, but I think like if people do skill moves at the highest level, it's 70-80% of the time it's the step over. You can just use it with almost every player, like on the wing, in the box, in midfield. I won't recommend to do it with your centre backs though, but it's really good. And yeah, even like players like, for example, Pirlo, if you do it with him, like a player with like 95 pace can't keep up with him because the speed boost is so good. If I get this question, which skill move is the best, I'm always saying step overs. I think it's for every single pro player, and it's not even a tough one.
Yeah, a lot of guys have said that. You mentioned centre backs. The last thing in terms of the tactical side of things, I am someone that when I was good at the game, you know, I say good. My good is like Elite 2 or something. Like I'm not like Elite 1 or anything like that. I was like an Elite 2 kind of guy. But I'm someone that I like to really press high with my centre backs, and I like to drag my centre backs. Now people say that's a bad thing. Are you someone that's aggressive with the centre backs, or do you just let your DM do all the work for you?
A bit of both, I would say. It also depends on like the player I'm facing.
Okay.
For example, last year when I played against Obrun, I knew I couldn't do that because when I stepped up with my centre back, he would just play a 1-2 L1 triangle over the top, and I was gone all the time. I think this year that doesn't work as good as last year, so you can like try to be aggressive a bit more. But in the end, like the easiest thing is to just don't touch the back four if it's not really needed. Like sometimes your DMs are just too far away, you need to switch to your back four centre backs. But when you are able to track back and like put pressure from behind with your attackers or midfielders, I would always recommend to just keep doing that. Otherwise, your opponent just needs one good skill move or one good dribble to like overload your box, and that's not what you want.
See, that's the problem. I'm just too impatient because even what you just said there, I've realised why I'm not a pro, because I don't have any change of plan for who I'm facing. I will go into every game the exact same way. I have my way of playing. If it doesn't work and I lose, oh well, too bad. But I guess you have like 2-3 formations that you're going to switch into depending on who you're playing, right?
Yeah, like formations this year, it's not really a thing because I'm almost always playing the 4-3-2-1, but you can play them like very different ways. You can play through the middle, you can play for the fullbacks, you can play for crosses, and some people are just defending like certain things, and some people are attacking like based on some mechanics, and based on that you can maybe tweak it a bit, figure out what works best, and obviously that's what we do. So for example, you have a lot of players who, you know, when they get the ball into the feet of the striker, they will just try step over forward, but you also have a lot of players, you know, like 9 of 10 for the times, they will just go for the 1-2, like, and yeah, that's a bit of a thing. Like, I think it's hard to analyze people this year because a lot of people play the same way, but these kind of things are what makes the difference, I would say.
Would you say it's maybe a bit different when you're playing like 2v2s? Because obviously, I guess you are someone that enjoys the 2v2 scene quite a bit. So how would maybe the game be different when you're playing 2v2s versus when you're just by yourself?
I think 2v2 takes so much more practice because, taking Ola and me as an example, at some point we just knew, like, if I walk left with the ball, I knew where he was gonna run, and these things made us as good as we were, I think. And because in 1v1, I know where I'm gonna pass, you know. I just know it. I know what I'm thinking, but I can't read my teammate's mind. So if you really wanna, play like a team, you need to practice so much, so you almost like know every time. For example, we always knew like I was gonna put pressure on the ball holder, Ola was striking the runs, for example. These kind of things are just like so tough to master, I would say, and a little bit of practice won't really help that. I think 2v2 was so good also to watch. When I ask like my friends and family, they always say, yeah, why is there no 2v2 this year? Because they really liked it, because I'm not really an emotional guy when I play. Ola was, and then I also get a bit emotional.
You have to join in with him, innit?
Yeah, that's just how it works, and I liked it a lot. Just the chemistry is so important, because you had a lot of good players who teamed up and didn't really work out, because maybe they didn't train well, the chemistry just wasn't there. I think it's really different than 1v1.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more unpredictable as well, because you can't just have, even if you put like the two best players together, if it's not gelling, you will get found out by obviously two players that maybe have played a longer time. So I definitely agree. But in terms of the pro side of things, hopefully the last 10-15 minutes or so you guys have been taking notes, because I certainly will be taking my notes. Next time I play champs, well,
you won't be stepping out with your centre back anymore.
No centre backs. I'm going to go 4-3. I think I play like, I don't even know what formation I use right now. I think it's just a regular 4. I can't remember what I even use. I can't lie. I change it like every couple weeks just because I get bored. But take notes, and you're going to be getting 20-0 very soon if you have the right mentality and the formation and a few stepovers. We are going to get into a bit of a quick fire sort of Q&A hot seat questions. You can give a bit of a longer answer for some if you want to. There are about 10-12 questions, so it should be straightforward. The first one has to be, of course, Messi or Ronaldo. Who's the GOAT? It has to be asked, I'm afraid. The people are waiting for your answer.
Messi.
Okay. Is that as in, do you prefer him, or is he just the best player in the world? Because some people, they say Messi's the GOAT, but I like Ronaldo more. Is that yours?
I don't have a personal preference, but I think Messi is a better footballer. But when I get to choose, like, I would say Neymar or Mbappe for me personally.
So fair enough. I guess that is the slightly younger generation. You were not there for when Messi was really, really crazy.
I know. Messi probably is the best. Like, he's the best I've seen, but I enjoyed watching Neymar so much.
That's fair. It's a shame that obviously he's there, no longer in Ligue 1, and even Mbappe's leaving, but there we go. Which celebrity would you invite to a dinner party? Any celeb. Could be footballer, rapper, could be...
To a dinner party? Barack Obama.
Okay. You want to have conversations about how it is to be president, or?
No, I think the man is so interesting. I would just like to talk with him and just talk about life, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. It's your answer. I can't disagree with you. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
A night out. I'm not a morning person. Like, everything but a morning person.
Next one. If you could live in any country for a year, what would you choose?
Brazil.
I hear that one.
Doesn't need much explanation.
Yeah, I hear that one. I want to go at some point. I want to go and watch like Palmeiras or something. So I agree with you with that one. What is the best traditional Dutch food or like entire meal?
I don't even like Dutch traditional food, I would say. A broodje kroket. You probably don't know. It's just at the snack bar. It's just like bread with like just a snack. It's really good. People who come here often really like it.
When I was living in Rotterdam for a whole year for uni. The only really thing that I somewhat enjoyed was it was like stroopwafels or whatever.
Stroopwafels.
Stroopwafels. That's what I enjoyed, but I didn't really. It's mostly just like cheese and stuff, isn't it? Like the Dutch food, right? So
it's a lot like just veggies and a lot of things are with potatoes. I'm more of a rice person than potatoes, so
fairs.
It's not really my thing.
Makes sense. Choose any person you would like to just meet in general. Let's go footballer for this one because you used Barack Obama for the dinner party. So any footballer you'd like to meet.
Mbappe, I would say.
Yeah. I've seen a couple guys doing that next to him, man. I feel like that would be very cool as well.
I think his personality is so crazy, like exaggerating. So I would like to know how he really is, get to know him a bit. Like, I think Messi, for example, I think he would be pretty boring but maybe
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah.
he could be pretty boring. So I would say Mbappe.
I doubt he will speak much English to have like a full conversation.
Nah,
but
not much.
We wouldn't really know. And me, I'd love to meet Ronaldinho. Even if he's
Oh,
not speaking
Ronaldinho,
English,
that's a good one.
if he can just do that, and that's all right. Just do that, and I'm happy. Right? Would you rather go skydiving or bungee jumping?
Skydiving.
Okay. Me personally, none of them. I don't want to be
Bungee jumping is
like.
bungee jumping.
Nah, if I'm in the plane, I'm sitting there. I'm not getting out of the plane until it lands on the floor. Personally, this one is a bit of a. You might have to think about this one. I don't know. It's a bit of a strange question. If you were an animal, what animal would you be? I don't know what answer I'd give, so that's why I'd say you could take your time.
If I have to choose just what animal I want to be,
Yeah.
probably like a lion. It's just
Okay.
crazy. Or elephant. Maybe be big.
Yeah, elephants are quite, and I think elephants have very good memory as well. So you know.
Maybe you want to be an animal without a good memory. So you just live your life, can't think about anything. Could be.
Well, maybe like birds then. Birds are just flying around in the sky.
That could
they have
be
the
sick.
freedom.
I would love to switch with an animal for one day, just be an animal one day. Unfortunately, it's not possible. That would be sick, no? Then I would choose to be a
don't
bird,
disagree with
definitely.
you, yeah. In that case, I don't know. Maybe a bird might be difficult
Yeah.
because I don't know the life expectancy. But anyway, so we'll pick whatever animal you like, no problem. What is one attribute that you like the most about yourself? Gas yourself up a little bit. What's one thing about yourself that you're like, I like this about me?
To be honest, like I like my skin. I rather be
Okay.
light skin than being like white skin.
Okay,
It's something I'm proud of, so that's what I would say.
fair enough. Hear that one. Who is one FIFA player at any point in time in history that you'd love to play with in a 2v2 tournament?
So obviously I've played with Manu, Emre, Olle, so I can count them
not
out.
including guys that you are playing with before. Of course.
Yeah, I played with Paulo basically, not real 2v2, but he was my teammate. I would probably say Fuma,
Okay.
because he's a really good friend of mine, and I think he's an insane player. Like we could really be a good team together. So I would say Fuma, I think.
Makes sense. If you were stranded on a desert island, what is one item you'd want to have with you? And I'm going to add one person from the pro community as well that you'd like to have there.
My phone
Okay.
and Renzo.
Okay. Is that because he's a funny guy, or is that because he's not
That's
going to
just
get on your
because
nerves?
I know if I'm with Renzo for like half a year, I will survive. Like he won't annoy me too much.
Yeah.
It's just a safe option. I can be with him all the time.
Makes sense. What is your favorite time of the year? So summer, spring, winter?
Summer, of course. Summer, just the end when the big FIFA tournaments are there. Until it ends, then I go on holiday. That's what I want. That's what I'm aiming
This
for.
guy is telling me about the tournaments. I'm thinking about the weather outside is shining. You're telling me about the
Bro,
tournaments.
the both. Like the best feeling.
Okay,
is
the
like,
move into it. I
yeah,
get
the best
you.
feeling is like finishing a tournament, like have a good performance, then going on holiday. That holiday, just take the break. That's perfect.
I would agree with you, definitely. Best football club in the world.
Ajax Amsterdam.
Okay. An English team for those that are watching.
Arsenal.
Yeah, that's what I like to see. This is the best podcast so far. It's still episode 1, but it's the best one so far. There we go. We have, four more of these? All right. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would you choose?
Chicken and rice.
Makes sense. One activity that you love doing outside of gaming.
Yeah, of course, playing football. And to be honest, like partying. I love partying a lot, so that's what I would say.
Cool, makes sense. Let's go with favorite music artist.
Let me watch my Spotify. Because this is quite a tough one.
Are you a Kendrick fan?
I listen to Drake a lot, but it switches a lot for me. Like today, as of today, I would say Morat, like a French guy.
Okay.
His songs are insane. But like on another day, I could say D-Block. On another day, I could say maybe Boof, rapper from the Netherlands. It's just like...
Yeah, fair enough. So we'll end it then with one piece of advice you'd give to anyone that wants to start either being a pro or doing content or anything to try and be like Levi De Weerd? What's one bit of advice?
Just don't think too much. Just try to and start with it. And if you struggle with things, just try to ask people or search for things like on YouTube, Google. Maybe they can help you out. And yeah, that's basically it. That's something I also regret. Sometimes I was just thinking too much and I didn't do something which I just wanted to do. And when you just start doing it, you will notice soon enough if it's gonna work or if it's not gonna work. And if it works, you just continue. And if it doesn't work, you try to make it work, I would say.
Fair enough. And there we have it. That was a lot of fun. Big thanks to Levi for taking his time out of his very busy day to join us. And a bigger thanks to you guys at home, whether you're watching or listening to the audio. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Follow him on all his socials to stay up to date with what he's doing. And to see what other guests we have lined up, obviously let us know who you want to see. And follow our socials to stay up to date with when a new episode is loading. All the best in a bit. Bosh.
Ciao.